Hello everyone, today we have Necrotic Wake plus 12 on Mythic difficulty as a Master of Harmony monk. Finally, huh? This is the route I took. It's pretty standard but also not so cluttered because we take a lot of damage, so try not to overkill myself. And my talents, the same ones as before, going down the Weapons of Order path. And for my gear, I've only had one change. I got an Amulet of Earth and Craftsmanship made, so an extra 3000 crit and versatility. Same 3 gems on Cersei's circlet. And when we begin the pull, I'm going to show you guys a way to get the first shield in Necrotic Wake because it's necessary for us as monks. That 50% damage reduction. So here you take this harvester, you paralyze him, and then Ring of Peace him, and the healer gets the shield. That was from another run I did. Here we didn't need to do it because the evoker cast Sleepwalk on it, and then he took it. So for this first pull, you just take these first 2 packs, and you take the Guardian there. Well, my plater profile is a bit messed up, I think. But you take the first Gate Guardian, and you don't pull the next pack of blight bags to the side until some of the mobs here are dead. And the reason for that is because the blight bags die and they put a debuff on you that we really do not need. Here the evoker used the shield just to make sure we weren't going to get killed. And as soon as I see that we pretty much cleared up the pack, we pull the next one. I use 2 defensives there, my main defensives, Fortifying Brew and Dampen Harm. I started off with Dampen Harm and then went into Fortifying Brew as soon as I saw that I was taking too much damage. So there I'm kind of trying to kite them away just to make sure that they aren't going to destroy me. And you just pull the next pack. The damage is really good, as you can see. Everybody's doing over 2.5 mil. I noticed that the soldiers are close by, so always keep an eye on that just so I don't pull anything extra. It can happen and then that'll kind of mess up the run. Here comes some of the blight bags. So we kind of need them. So I make sure to run in there, get some aggro. And it gets a little bit dangerous just because we take a lot of damage in this one. I don't know how I'm gonna do it if I get to do this on the 13, but it's pretty hard. And the healer was good, but you'll see at the end it wasn't. I felt something was off, and it kind of was because you'll see it on the meters at the end that yeah, the healer probably could have done a lot better. But anyways, I'm just waiting here for everybody. I jump up here and aggro all of these. Exploding Keg here just to get a lot of threat on these, just to make sure that my DPS don't get one shot. This pull can be a bit rough just because the double throw flash can one-shot any DPS. Maybe not so much in the 12, but later on it can. There, I'm just waiting for the soldiers to move a little bit before pulling Blightbone. I don't know what's wrong with my plater, but it says his name is Chancross. I don't know, something weird. And here, the mage gets one shot. He used no defensive. The healer was trying his best, but yeah.
Defensive.
Heaving Wretch can one-shot you, so you have to make sure that your DPS are using defensives. And then you kind of just kite him around this ledge here, using Celestial Brew or Purifying Brew after you take a hit from that crunch. There's the mage again. There he had some help, so he didn't die. And I'm constantly dispelling the disease away from our DPS.
Defensive.
And after this heaving wretch, this is kind of why I like this ledge, just because. So there, the paladin gets hit. We're almost at the end of the ledge, and the gas is going off. So I just roll off. You can jump off, and he runs around. But sometimes if the worms are still alive, they'll run around slowly. So it kind of gives your DPS time to stay on the boss. And it's kind of easier to position the boss so that the worms can get cleaved on their way down. There, I try to throw a heal on the mage. I dispelled his disease. So far we're doing pretty good. Just besides those 2 deaths that we had, we're doing pretty good. This evoker, devastation evoker, crazy damage. Like, I think he carried. I think it was his key. He was really trying to get this done.
Defensive.
They're just executed just to speed it up a little bit. Hugging this wall, we don't need those soldiers, any of that, so just trying to avoid it. This gatekeeper we do need, as he's part of the count. I dropped my black axe statue there just so that the soldiers, when they come out, they aggro onto it. So that's something that you can do as well. As you can see, the soldiers will run straight at the DPS. So if you drop it there, it'll aggro them as it's generating threat around itself. The first one it missed, but then as you can see, the second one it kind of got caught up there, and it definitely helps because then I can just cast my taunt on the statue and it'll grab them. I got a little bit too confident though. I didn't think another one was gonna spawn, so I moved my statue. And here I let them know not to break my CC because this is pretty easy since everything is pretty packed. And again, don't mind my typing. I'm trying to type fast. So aggro this, interrupt, and then you paralyze this one. I messed up because I thought I threw my paralysis off. I didn't.
Defensive.
So I'm just letting them know, like, no, don't do anything so I can paralyze them. Too late. But the DPS was really good. I go in there, you know, leg sweep just to keep them from casting, and then I have to collect these. It was a bit hectic, but the group was really well put together. Like, everybody knew what they were doing. And there I just executed just to make sure that it just dies. So we take this anima orb here. Yeah, he CC'd them away. Yeah, the evoker was. He was right about that. There, knocked them into myself after I throw some aggro on them. And I think one of the signs of a good group is just the range interrupting the casters. Here, I'm gonna ping the mage because the mage is too close to the front, and it's a little bit weird. I don't know why they want to stand like right there. Like, I'm just moving left and right with the ad, and then he gets cleaved, and I'm like, why? His excuse was that he was to the side. You can just stand behind them in DPS. It makes it a lot easier for me. Could I have moved a little bit more forward to do it? Yeah. But, you know, in the moment, I kind of wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about avoiding the puddles. You know, just trying to make sure that no one else gets clipped. And here we're gonna see a little trick. You drop the statue in the middle, and they all run to it, and then it makes it easier for you to get them. You see that? So now they're all locked in together, exploding keg, and I use the animal orb as soon as he does his first bubble burst. It makes it easier to get them all in together again, and less damage you take. There I use my diffuse magic just to make sure I didn't get clipped. This one here was dangerous. Look at this. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I had zero time to react. I didn't know where to go. I was just boxed in. I probably could have stood on top of the boss and it probably would have
Watch your step.
not killed me. But in the moment, again, I'm not thinking too much about it. I'm just thinking about not dying and then wiping us here. Because that probably would have set us back a little bit. These I gather them and I try to stand on this little corner because if you see on the left, some of those ads are patrolling. Like that mage is right there. I'm a little bit scared of going past the little threshold there. Just because I'm not trying to catch aggro. If I catch aggro with these two marauders and then that crazy pack, like it's a wipe and it's game over pretty much. The key is bricked. Just because that pool there requires a lot of attention, a lot of CC. A lot of people skip it, which is smart. Um, we probably could have sort of skipped it, I think. I'm not too sure, but I didn't wanna. I didn't wanna do it. I didn't wanna risk it.
Grandpa.
So these get cleaned up, and now here I'm gonna show you the CC technique again. It's kind of like we used to get the shield. So paralyze, and then just pull them all to you. You taunt the Necromancer just so that he can speed up and move into you. And then you can just continue your normal rotation. Like, you don't have to worry about anything. There he used the shield. I think it was the mage who used the shield. But you stay away from the mage and you don't have to worry about it free casting. Here, I saved my leg sweep for that. You can hard CC the Necromancer just so that it spawns less ads. And it kind of works. Here for this one, I'm trying to get my paralysis on the farthest away. I didn't have Tiger's Lust and that kind of messed us up. Again, my paralysis didn't go off. It goes off there, but I think we break it. I'm not too sure. But this is already like becoming a little bit hectic. There, it broke. And now, we're just like getting destroyed here. Good Spirit Link Totem there from the Shaman. I was getting ready to use my Fortifying Brew here if I had to. And I'm trying to collect aggro on all of these just so that my team isn't getting hit. The crossbowmen though, those are a pain in the neck. And I'm just trying to get this within execute range so I can just kill it. So, we only had one death. It was a mage. It's alright. Not too bad. Poor mage died the most I think in this run. But this is one of those pulls that can really make or break the key. If you can't survive that, that's pretty much it. So it requires a good amount of coordination, which can be a bit hard in the pug.
Defensive.
I wanted to jump over and collect all of those corpses over there with this pull, but I've done this enough times to know that if I do that, I'm going to pull the Marauder in the middle with those two casters. So I just decided to wait a little bit, get these low, and then do the pull. You want to face them away from your group as soon as you can, just so that nobody gets cleaved. The mage again, or the pally there, sorry.
Defensive.
Almost got cleaved. And so here, we lost it. I don't know why, but
Grandpa.
guess they wanted to. When you get the little well under you, all you have to do is just move back here.
Watch your step.
And you're fine. Move back. That's it. You don't aggro anything, and you're keeping the Marauder from hitting anything else. The plan is to get this caster killed, wait for this next cleave, and then pull all of the corpses together. But he dropped really fast. I'm not sure how or why. He dropped from 40 mil to about 7 in like no time. Here I dropped the Black Ox statue and then taunted everything onto me, using all of my cooldowns just to get threat. That Swarmlord's Authority, really good trinket. I'm glad I got it off of a raid, just because it's a 3 mil absorb on a 1 minute cooldown. So that paired well with refraction trinket make really good defensive trinkets. I think it's better than the Molten Furnace one. even though
Run.
multi-furnace trinket gives versatility, it's still a pretty good trinket compared
Watch
to
your
that.
step.
You will be brought to justice. You dare deny me
They're
the
just,
Watch your
sky?
step.
I don't know why, but the healer used the shield,
Run.
50% less damage. Probably should have saved it for the boss, but I don't know. So again, it's like those things that
Watch your
happen in
step.
pugs and you really have no control over. Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong in why the healer used the shield there, but we probably could have saved it for the boss, and it would have been a lot better.
Run.
I tried to stay there to execute, but I knew I wasn't gonna make it. It sucks that the execute takes like 1 or 2 seconds to kind of proc. I'm pinging them there because I want to tank the boss there. I know for a fact that based off of how much space it has around them, that's where it summons the ads. So the closer he is to the wall, as you can see there, he spawns them all really close to us. And I don't really have to do much running around to pull them.
Press and come.
I had to execute the crossbowmen there just to be safe. But the DPS were doing really good. They knew what they were doing. And there, just pull it back to the corner and it's as easy as that.
Defensive. Collapse.
Again, they're spawning pretty close by. They all spawned pretty close, so I just ran around and collected them. The one that worries me the most is the warrior, because that one can two-shot the DPS. But this is a pretty good place to tank it. And the mage scaring me again, so I have the Tiger's Lust them. But they spawn pretty close, so it can get cleaved while the DPS damages the boss. And you just drag them back into this corner. It would probably be a lot easier if...
Defensive.
Okay, so there the shaman died because nobody interrupted the cast. It's tricky because it looks like he's casting the necrotic bolt on myself, but he can cast it on anyone. I think I saw in the video where it says that since it has 2 heads, it'll cast it on a DPS or a healer, not necessarily just the tank. So that's why it's a little bit tricky. So here, if we didn't kill the mage, the paladin could have hodged it as soon as the boss starts casting its final harvest, and the hard CC would prevent it from blowing up the group. But we managed to kill him in time. So I was saying it would be easier if you had a Death Knight, because the Death Knight can just pull in the crossbowmen and the mages towards you. For this first one, I would have pulled it right away, but I saw that the healer wasn't with us. But you can gather them up as soon as those parts kind of patrol next to this here.
The parts for my new creation have arrived at last.
I probably should have just stood on top of the collector, but my fear was that this patrol here was going to get into us too early. And this is where it gets dangerous for monks. So the creation thing there, it casts Tenderize and then it casts Mutilate. The Tenderize isn't so much of a problem as much as the Mutilate is, because that's what's the tank buster pretty much. There I'm just kiting them around just so I don't take any more damage, so that my defensives are coming back up. The healer can kind of top me off. But it's like everything is just like piling in on all of us. And here you can see, so I'm at 3 stacks of Tenderize. He's going to Tenderize me again. And then he's going to hit me with a Mutilate. And that's kind of what hurts.
Help soak.
There I would have soaked, but we don't need to just because we have a lot of ads in between the person who is about to get hit
Run.
and the mob who's casting on them, so it was okay.
Help soak.
And again, for this, don't be afraid of kiting. Like, you need to kite. It's a necessity. Like, there's nothing else that you can do here. You're just gonna take a lot of damage, and you have to kite. That's why they blew them away,
Run.
and then I started to kite a little bit. It's just necessary. There's nothing much we can do.
It's not ready.
They're using my defensive trinket because I know a mutilate was coming up. I got a new weak aura tracker for it, so it tracks whenever I get a shield. So the shield with the on use is like around 3 million absorb. And then every little scarab, whenever it spawns, it's like a 2 to 300k shield.
Run. Run.
I'm already at four tenderized stacks here.
Help soak.
Come, my assistant. These raw materials are in need of processing.
So for this, I thought, oh, I'll just drop my Black Ox statue there to aggro and then pull this one. But
Help
nope,
soak.
the attendant just ignored it and kind of like almost went straight for everything.
Help soak. Help soak.
Here I'm just trying to keep this attendant in line with the cleaver toss, but I think somebody might have got hit by it. I'm not sure. But we're clearing them up pretty fast. Nothing too much to worry about.
Oops. Gorgrine, try not to damage those limbs whilst you tear them off.
I forgot that this one spawned ads. So as you can see, that's how you know I haven't done this one in a long time. So I forgot he spawned ads. So I forgot how to start the pull on this. But anyways, yeah.
Trample.
Definitely having the Celestial Brew on a shorter cooldown and having Purifying Brew on a shorter cooldown kind of helped a lot. I wonder if it would have been easier on Shadow Pan, but I'm not too sure and I haven't done Shadow Pan at all. I just want to get to 3000 as a Master of Harmony, see how that goes.
How vexing! Rot you!
I like how the invokers do that.
Predecessor!
Can't attack that.
I remember the first time I saw it, I thought it was crazy, but only because one of them kind of suplexed me into the ground. I was like, oh, okay, what was that?
It's too far away. I need to get closer.
Target you.
Spitpox? I don't know what's wrong with my players and those weird names. But anyways, here I'm trying to kite this Rot Spew around the circle. I don't want him to die in the middle or anywhere close to the middle just because he still has that aura where he dies and like you're taking magic damage. So I don't want to put my team in danger of taking more damage than they need to take. So I just pull him to the corner. I know he's about to die, and that's it. Just take care of him there.
Oh, now I have to rebuild those two from
So here I'm just waiting for the healer. And here we start. So pull this one a little bit closer to the middle. Not exactly at the middle. But just so you can give space for the DPS to run behind you. So that they can get the hook.
I must preserve your parts for later.
That embalming ichor can also fall somewhere close to the middle. There, I should have taunted him immediately, but I kind of didn't. And yeah, somebody almost died. So for this hook, I just stand a little bit to the side of the creation, just so that he can hook the surgeon. We probably could have gotten another meat hook on him, but we end up killing him pretty fast. So again, we dropped them to 29% in one phase. Here again, you pull them closer to the middle. And what you want to do when you get the ichor, you want to run away to bait it out somewhere else. Just so it doesn't cover up the path where they need to run. So you see they have a little area where they can run to. And then you just go to town on the surgeon and that's it. At this point I knew, well, I felt it that we were going to time it because we have about 6 minutes left. The next boss doesn't take more than 3 to 4. We already had the count, so all we had to do was just not die in the next boss.
My greatest was yet to come.
Died after 1 minute and 35 seconds. That's a crazy record. And here we go. So I pull him to the corner here just because it makes it easier for everybody to stand around him in case they get that. I use my Tiger's Lust on the healer there just to break him out.
Watch your step.
And you pretty much just have to rotate your cooldowns. And here for this, I just run on the box, the shape of a box. You don't really have to do much more than that. The melee standing on the opposite side, so we're good. Just rotate your cooldowns, keep yourself topped off, and that's it.
Watch your step.
Just run in a little box and you're fine. You're not going to hit anyone if you're keeping an eye out. The paladin also knows not to run towards my side. We each have our little space. And trying to just use a Celestial Brew whenever an Ice Shard comes up. Or heal myself with Expel Harm.
Watch your step.
Again, just run in a little box. Or there I ran around the boss. But it's pretty straightforward. So once that corner is used, then you just pull them to the next one. And that's it. And that's all this boss requires. It doesn't require a lot of like strategy. It's just I want to say it's a tank and spank. Your DPS do most of the work because they're the ones that are getting expelled. You just have to make sure you don't die. That's it.
Watch your step.
There I had to run in a line because I thought the paladin was really close to me. I didn't want to run in the box and risk him running in the box too and just dying. So I guess we kind of both had the same idea.
Watch your step.
Can escape the storm.
Though I will say it's a bit risky tanking it here now that I look at it because that person who got dropped off, that's where they land. So they could have got hit by the comet storm. But this is pretty much over.
can escape
Um,
the storm.
the mage was just like free casting at the boss the entire time. By the looks of it, he probably got expelled, like exiled, like 2 times, 1 time. But he did a lot of the damage here, I guess.
I can't attack them.
Yeah, that's it. I executed him there. I don't know what happened. He didn't die. That was strange. I think he had a shield on. But that's it. Necrotic Wake plus 12. I am now 18 points from 3,000 rating as a Master of Harmony monk. These are the meters. DPS not so bad. My healing, I did more than the healer. That was crazy. That means that we got carried by the DPS. And this is again why I love Master of Harmony. Celestial Brew, my number 1. And Gift of the Ox, number 2. Here's my damage meters. I normally don't include them, but I decided to on this one. Keck Smash, Chi Burst, crits very often. Aspect Harmony Dot is usually higher. This one was a little bit lower. But yeah, I'll be making a video on my weak auras, so stay tuned for that. See you in the next one.